What's up guys, it's Jordan here and welcome back to another Rainbow Six Siege video. Today we're going to be talking about a tactic known as roaming. Roaming is a tactic which the defense team can use. Some people use it, other people absolutely despise it, but the actual fact is that if you know when and how to use it properly, roaming is a really good tactic. So the tactic of roaming is when a defending character leaves the defending area or the objective area and their team to go and roam around the rest of the map as a defender. And there's different types of roaming. You've got a passive roamer, which is generally when someone goes and hides behind the door and just sits there. Some people call it camping, but I don't like to use that word in Siege because Siege isn't a game where camping is really something that you frown upon. It's a tactic. It's another tactic that you use. This is not Call of Duty. So the other kind of roaming is active roaming, where you run around and just basically try to cause mayhem. Think of Call of Duty players playing Siege. They run around and try to kill everyone. Not really the best tactic. The third one is called distraction. People generally do this when they're playing with a group they communicate well with, because when they run around, they draw all the enemies to a different area, and then obviously the rest of the team can come up behind them and just wipe them all out. Really good tactic if you're playing with a team that communicates well. So roaming, as I said, can be a good thing and it can also be a bad thing. A bad time to use roaming would be in a situation where too many people do it. So if you see that there's only one person left in the defending objective room and then you go off and roam and you go and hide behind a wall far away from the objective, that then leaves it exposed. So if there's one person defending, it can take a minimum of one other attacker to simply go in the window, kill that defender, take the objective, and then the game's lost because you were too far away to do it while you were waiting for someone else to come along and ambush them. So that's an example of bad roaming, which is quite obvious really. If there's no one in the room, you're not defending the objective. A case of good roaming is the opposite, obviously. If you can see that everybody is in the room, then it's a good idea to go and do roaming, because if you're all bunched up in a corner and say for instance Fuse puts his special ability, or whatever you want to call it, on the wall, he can take out the entire team with one go. And not only that, there's not a lot of diversity, so if you're in a room that has maybe multiple entrances and you're all bunched up in the same room, it's very difficult to defend because obviously they can attack you from so many different angles, and it's a lot more difficult to cover lots of angles from a central position. So if you have maybe one or two other players dotted around that central defense room who are roaming, you can then wait for the attackers to attack that central room, and then you can move in around behind them and take them out. Now you will get a lot of people who will get so angry at you for this tactic. It does happen. People who don't like it because they don't like losing is the simple thing. There are lots of people who just call it a cheating tactic, stupid things like that. The thing about Rainbow Six Siege is there's no such thing as a bad tactic in it. It's a game about outsmarting your opponent. So the better you are at outsmarting them, the better you're going to be. It's not so much a twitch reflex game like Call of Duty. It's more about thinking and also using your hearing, because you can hear footsteps, you can hear people running around. So if you're passive roaming, so you're hiding behind somewhere, you can listen for footsteps and sort of gauge where the enemy is, and then you can move in, intercept them, and take them out. So that is the main principle of Siege, is doing things like that. So camping, roaming, not bad tactics. It's just basically sore losers who don't like dying, because 9 times out of 10 they do the exact same tactic. There's another key thing you want to take into consideration when attempting roaming while defending, and that is, are you playing with a group of people you don't know, a pug group, or are you playing with people that you do know? This links back to communication. If you're playing with people that you don't know, it's very unlikely that they're going to be covering your back, because if you're roaming, you're going to need at least one other person with you generally. You can do it solo if you're lucky, but a lot of the time it won't work out as well as if you have someone out there with you. You're going to need someone to cover spots that you can't see. So if you're like hiding in a singular room with 2 entrances and you're trying to look out, maybe you're trying to lie down in the corner and peek out through one door, you're going to want someone covering the door behind you, because someone can easily sneak up on you and take you out, which is quite a common occurrence if you're defending, because obviously the attackers are more likely to go through every room and search every room, more so than you are. If you're roaming, you're most likely going to be sitting in one spot, but that just depends on how you play. The best gun to use when roaming is, again, mainly personal preference, but I would say shotguns are always a very good option because they can penetrate most surfaces. So you can hide in a room with only one entrance and you can just listen out for footsteps, and as soon as you hear someone come through the wall next to you, you can easily get a kill through the wall while only firing at least once or twice, because the shotguns are really powerful when it comes to wall penetration. So using a shotgun and shooting through walls, or roaming, passive roaming and shooting through walls, is a brilliant tactic that works extremely well, and especially when it comes to doors. Just lie down by a door, wait until you see someone's feet under the door, and then a shotgun will easily take them out with one shot. They won't even have a chance to react, and that is a very good tactic that works extremely well when passive roaming. The final point would be which character is best, and this one is almost a given, and that would be Pulse, because he has a heartbeat sensor, so you can sit behind a wall and you can, if you can't hear so well, or if he can look through walls or detect heartbeats through walls, which is really good on passive roaming because you don't even need to move, because moving even just ever so slightly does create sound in this game, sound which can be heard by everyone who's nearby. So with a heartbeat sensor you don't need to move until the last second when you're going for the kill, so with Pulse it's brilliant. And also you can detect when you're about to be outmatched. Sometimes if you have 3 people running towards you or running past the room that you're roaming in or passively roaming in, you can't tell that there's more than one person there, so you move out for the kill, 3 people gang up on you. Sometimes you'll get lucky and get 3 kills, that's always a really good feeling, but other times you'll just get killed because there's 3 of them. So with a heartbeat sensor, obviously, or playing Pulse is brilliant because you can tell how many people there exactly, where they exactly are, and whether or not it's worth it, so you know when to attack, when to retreat. Just an all-round brilliant character. So if you're going to be doing passive roaming, those are the best characters, or that's the best character and the best weapon to use. But obviously if you don't like those characters or don't like that weapon, you don't have to. It's personal preference, it's whatever you play best with. That's just a recommendation and something that I know works well. So guys, that's the brief description of what roaming is and when not to use it. It's a simple tactic which I use quite a lot of the time. I like roaming, but obviously at the same time you need to know when not to roam and when it's going to be a problem. So yeah, that's roaming and when it's best to use it. I hope this video helped you out. I've been thinking of doing sort of mini tutorial things like this for a while. I'm not the best player in the world at Siege, but I do know quite a few things. I've been playing ranked for a while and I've played with lots of other people who have taught me, so I'm just passing on things I've learned from other players and things that I've picked up from playing way too much Siege. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smack the like button. If you have anything else you want to add to it, put it in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.